Hello. Do you remember your school building? Well, if you're over 25, the chances are that it looked something like that. A typical example of 19th century school architecture. But a lot of today's school children will have quite different memories. 1,100 girls have just moved into that school of the 60s, here on a slum clearance site in southeast London. That's Trinity School near the Elephant and Castle. The most modern materials, the most modern design. That is what's called a hyperbolic paraboloid. It's the assembly hall, one of the three main buildings. And one expert has called it the most unusual and exciting assembly hall in the country. You can imagine how delighted these school children must have been to get away from dingy Victorianism into such bright modernity. So, to get a classroom view of this school of the future, we've invited one of the partnership of three architects responsible for this school, Mr. Peter Chamberlain, here to Southwark to learn from some of the pupils how they feel about his design.
What gave you the idea of making the sliding doors in the hall?
So that you could open the hall to the house rooms all the way round, so that when the whole school want to assemble together, they can do.
Don't you like the sliding doors?
They're lovely. Why did you make the stairs slightly sloped and make them with the red brick, which is so slippery and it is wet?
These are the ones leading up to the main entrance?
Yes.
Well, in fact, the bricks paving the stairs are deliberately chosen so that they have grooves in them and won't be slippery. I don't know whether anyone slipped on one yet, but they shouldn't do. And secondly, we wanted a ramp up to the main entrance there, but we thought it would be easier if we had broad steps, which were just slightly ramped.
You have found them slippery, have you?
One old lady has had an accident there.
Very surprised about this, because the bricks are deliberately designed by the manufacturers to be non-slippery.
What was the idea of placing the windows so high up?
You mean the top-hung ones that open outwards rather than the sliders? That was so that you got plenty of through ventilation when it was raining outside.
But then the bottom windows are covered up, and you can't open those either.
This is only on the top story, isn't it? And you can remove the pin boards which are covering the windows on that floor if you don't need them. But as you know, all the activities that go on up in this top floor are art and geography and other things which need an awful lot of pin-up area.
I think the lecture rooms are dangerous because the top desk is level with the windows, and if the windows are open, a child could fall out of there.
This is the science lecture room.
Lecture.
Yes, that I accept. And in fact, only last weekend we were discussing putting a guardrail across that window, which will be there.
And why did you place such a small step? It's only about an inch high, where everybody comes in. Even strangers come in there and they all trip over it.
The step by the main entrance door, you mean? That, I agree, was a mistake on our part, and it will be altered.
Don't you think, with the construction you've done, don't you think the drainage system is rather bad? Or the way you've got the bold orange things hanging down?
Oh, you mean from the roof?
Yes.
The actual
very dangerous.
Rainwater?
Yes.
Do you think it's dangerous?
Yes, I mean, you get some girls running down them stairs, they're going to hit themselves and hurt themselves very badly on those.
Oh, I don't think they will.
Well, we've had one accident already,
Have you
actually.
really?
Yes.
Well, I'm very sorry to hear this. But it seems to me with handrails on either side of the staircase, you should be able to go down without falling.
Oh, but with the, 1,200 girls coming out of there from assembly, it's rather awkward for them. And they have to take a complete right turn at the bottom of them, which is very dangerous.
Well, I don't know. I think you're using exaggerated terms there. I
if
don't
you'd slanted the steps up a bit more, it would have been easier for them, but they have to turn a complete right angle.
Well, perhaps the addition of some handrail would help it at the bottom.
Yes, it probably would. And
I think you'll get used to it. I think any new building is strange.
Don't you think you designed the blackboards in a rather awkward place up in the geography rooms and places like in the commerce room?
Well, the position we designed them was exactly the position which we were asked to put them in by the various inspectors responsible for it.
What is wrong with the position of the blackboard?
Well, if you're sitting over the other side of the room, you have to crane your neck round and everything. It's impossible to see the boards, especially from the end desk.
Well, I didn't realise this, and all I can say is that I'm surprised if it is impossible, because the rooms are rectangular, and you're sitting somewhere in this rectangle, And there are no columns or anything in the way, are there?
No, but you kind of just crane your neck round everybody before you can see anything.
Well, this sounds a very serious criticism, but I don't know what the answer is to it.